there. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, I have a special guest. I feel so privileged to have him on, and I really thank you for accepting the invitation to this special presentation. I have with me Sid McNairy, and he was announced to be the World Peace Ambassador 2024. Now, if you're like me and you don't really watch the news, you might be thinking, what is a world peace ambassador? What does that entail? Who is this person? If you're intrigued, stay tuned. We're going to talk to Sid today. We're going to find out all about who he is and the amazing journey of peace that he's bringing into our world today. Welcome, Sid.
Hey, thank you. And thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, so nice to have you. I wanted to know now, this world, we want peace, but what is a world peace ambassador? I know you went all the way to Sweden. I saw on social media your Instagram accepting this very, very honorable award, but I haven't heard too much about it in the United States. So would you mind enlightening us?
Yeah. So the World Peace Award, it's been around for about 15 years and they hold it in the same building as the Nobel Prize. And so the award was presented by it's a bunch of monks that put it on, and 55 countries were there. I mean, it was a couple thousand people were there, and so it was major. I hadn't heard of it either. They
Okay,
just happened to find the work that I was doing in the world, and
okay,
because of that, they did their research, and then they called and said, "Hey, normally we vet someone for a year, but we know what you've done.
okay.
So would you come over to Sweden and accept this award?" So that's how it went for me. And, the work that I do in the world, it was pretty humbling to see that people actually knew about it overseas.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I am really nosy. So I want to know what work you're doing because I went on social media. You have a beautiful website. You actually have two websites. And I see that you're an author, you're a speaker, you host podcasts, you are a coach, actually a coach of football players. You're a master yoga instructor, and the list goes on. So I'm like, what? I mean, you do so much work. How do you serve currently? How do you serve?
Well, the way that I serve people, I mean, fortunately, because of how I've been doing it, it spreads by word of mouth.
Mm,
And, so there's a lot of things that I do. I mean, I'm fortunate that during my 12 years coaching football, I put 23 guys in the NFL. So people know, oh, he does something, whatever that something is, there's something that I do. And so people call because that level of helping others reach their dreams
mm,
is something that I do. And that's the coaching piece. And people have heard about how I inspire people. So they bring me to their companies to speak or to different events. And I've published 7 books. I've got 12 of them still to come that are all done. And so early on, I just, not that I wrote for a hobby, but I hadn't published my first book when I published my first book. And now I'd say this last book is where I felt like, okay, I've really become a writer because I sit down and I just write and it comes out and it flows. So that level of penmanship or authorship is different than writing my first book now.
mhm,
It gives me the space to know, okay, someone can be picking this up 100 years from now, and I know
mm.
it's make a difference in their life. And so everything now has come into that umbrella that allows me to say, okay, this is all about peace. This is all about getting someone to peace. And we call it quantum human living system when we work with people and making sure people become the best humans they can be.
Hmm. So we're going to get into this because, for our audience, they may say, okay, what is he talking about? Like, and then how did he get so many guys to go to the NFL? Like, what's his secret sauce? And I want to talk about this because, I am a holistic nurse and I'm very much in this holistic space. And I'm okay about talking about what people consider woo woo or, the quantum field. I am a-okay talking about it. It actually excites me. And I was actually referred to you. Our connection is through the holistic space. What you have done for some of, a very, very well known naturopath, holistic practitioners, clients, right? Wonders. You work wonders. So if it's okay, I know you have powers. I know you have superpowers. I know you have techniques. Share what you're comfortable sharing. But when people are in your presence as a coach, as a guru, as a guide, a facilitator of peace, could you share with us what happens?
Well, first, I want to say glory goes to something bigger than myself, you know, and because of that, I don't talk a lot about what I do and just let other people talk about it. Like
Hmm.
you can
Hmm.
say, someone can say they're a guru, and if nobody's following, who are you a guru to, right? Like,
Exactly.
are you a
Exactly.
one person cult? No, I'm
Yes.
just Sid. And
Hmm.
so when I look at it, first and foremost, I know that because of my track record of what I've done, the proof
Hmm.
in the pudding, like we talked about in coaching, people come to me and often it's like their last hope.
Yes.
And, whether it's a grapefruit sized tumor on their throat or looking like they're pregnant from lumps in their stomach or tumors in their stomach or lumps in their chest area or whatever that may be, I know that from my journey and my connection to God, to the creator, not the religion God, but the
Yes.
one that started it all, my relationship to that is why if two or more agree in my father's name, so it shall be. I'm number two in someone's life. So like even though you're like your superpower, well, I know the power is greater than me.
Mhm.
It's not really my power. My power is that I've taken the time to cultivate the energy that flows through me, because I've been able to touch people since I was 3 years old and they lose pains in their body. And at first it was like, oh yeah, that just happened. It's not really Sid or whatever. And then as I got older and then I became more confident, people started wondering, all right, what is that? And
Mhm.
so at one point my hands turned on so electric that I couldn't even push them together more than this. Like I there was so much energy flowing between my hands. And my grandmom said, God, spirit will guide you. You don't have to go try to do something with that. And then people started calling me about me being in their dreams. I had a dream and you were in it, and I have ovarian cancer was the first person, and you did this, this, this. So she really taught me what to do because I had never done that. So I did it. She went to the doctor and then was gone. Then the next person, she called and said I could help her baby. And I was like, I don't know what, like this, that's a lot. Like, it's your baby.
Mhm.
I get why you would call because you're hopeful that I could, but I have no clue. And when I walked in, the baby was like blue and limp. And when I walked in and I started talking, the baby kind of looked over and put its arms up. And she said, I think he wants you to hold him. And I went and he fastened his arms around my neck, legs around my waist, and
Mhm.
pulled his heart to mine. And I could feel my heart feeding him. And he was fine ever since. I met him 15 years later, and she was like, this guy is the reason why you're still here, you know? So, so I kind of pushed that stuff away early because
Yes.
it was just a lot. People,
Mhm.
when I started doing it on a bigger scale, I had 60 something people come and people were upset that I even did that,
Yes.
even though they got help, like tumor's gone. Like, okay, you're mad at me. Well, I don't want to do it then. So
Yes.
it's just gotten to a point. And I think that was just a reflection I wasn't comfortable with my own space. And
Mhm.
now, because I've worked with so many people, and I asked for, I said, God, Jesus, whoever, bring me a miracle that I can't deny. And that happened with a lady that's on the website that, you know, pictures from her doctor and all that stuff, uh, where she looked like she was pregnant. The person that introduced her, her sister, she looked like she was
Wow.
pregnant. And after 8 hours, she had a washboard stomach. And so that was like the miracle I needed to say, okay, who am I to deny what God's given me to do? You know, um, so that's a big part of it for sure.
You know, in the holistic space for so many years, there's been a vigorous war between traditional or standard medicine and holistic practice, whether that be Reiki or quantum physics as we know it. There's been this disconnect where a lot of healers kind of went into hiding. they have they can share freely what they do because they're afraid that the very people, like you said, that they're helping will turn on them. And I really, I see you, and you're so humble, and you're not you wouldn't amplify this because this is how, especially as you were talking about peace, um when I see you, it's you focus not on the wow like, oh my gosh, you could be at death's door and I'll bring you back, that's not your focus. Your focus is on peace. Peace in the mind, peace in the body, peace with your spirit, peace with others. Your focus, if we look at all your writings, all your branding, it's about peace. And do you see a correlation between the work you've done as a coach, the work you have done with healing in the holistic space and the quantum field, and peace? Do you see a thread going through all of it?
Well, yeah, the beautiful thing is that it is said that Dr. Hawkins and many other doctors, peace is the highest vibration you can have before the next vibration would be enlightenment. And
Mm,
because peace is the highest vibration, that's what I've worked on for so many years. And that's what I teach people. When they get to peace, when you have true peace, there's nothing else. So there is no dis-ease in the body. There
mm,
is. So when I'm working with someone, that sometimes they'll fall asleep. They feel that level of peace. And then in that level of peace, your body gets to recover. So definitely a thread. And that's when we're working on, when I'm doing the coaching programs, the deep dive of the TSW program or the quantum human living system, it's all about cultivating that level of peace that's with you 100% your rest of your life. So
mhm.
I have no interest in someone needing to come be at my feet for the rest of their life. I want them to be able to go live in peace. And unfortunately, I have a job. Because when I'm done doing my job, I shouldn't have a job. Everyone should know how to, if I call myself a healer, which I don't, or doctors are healers, and well, are they healers or are they helping people stay sick? Because if you're really a healer, you don't have a job.
You work yourself out of a job.
Absolutely. We just have a world that's in need of that right now. And I'm not taking anything from doctors because I have a great doctor that helped me with my eyes, Dr. Samara. I love him to life. And many doctors doing amazing things with
Yes,
people.
yes.
And so I definitely celebrate them. And for myself, it's like football. I have 458 wins as an athlete and a coach and 98 losses. There's something about winning in life,
Mm,
and that's what I love helping people do right now is win in their life and know how to peacefully win at all things, and that's the greatest win I can give to somebody is when they have peace and they look at their child who they thought was going to commit suicide and they're happy because they're like, I got my kid back.
Yes, tell me more about this because you were talking about this. You said, Casey, if someone's child is like on the verge of, wanting to end it all or just giving them a lot of worries, which we know happens, they come to you. They come to you. You bring them back to a state of peace.
Yeah. I mean, and that's probably the most important call I think I get in my life is when someone says my kid needs it. Because, the kid likely isn't even thinking about it. They're just in their problem. But a parent's calling because they love them so much they want help, you know.
Mhm.
So in that moment, I'll be like, yeah, when we get on the call, I'm staying on the call till everything's okay, you know. And however long it takes on that first call, and until that kid can say, yeah, I'll talk to you next week. Then once they say that, then it's like, all right, we're good. I'll see you next week, and then I'll see you next week, and I'll see you next week, and then because they're children, they're usually like after the fifth week, they're like, you know, yeah, I'll be on next week. And then eventually it's like, I don't need this. And I'm like, no, you don't. Exactly. Now go live your life.
I love it. I love it. In the holistic world, when I was doing studying to be a holistic nurse, they really talk about the difference between healing and a cure. And healing, it's a state where anybody can heal, and it seems like you're to people. So you coach kids. Do you coach adults? Do you work with adults as well?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Anyone and everyone that's ready, I work with. And especially I love working with professional athletes because they have an end result in mind. They
Mhm,
know I want to be at this point in my mind. They're disciplined to stay the course. So when it comes to adults, it's generally someone that has a motor for themselves. They're a
okay.
little self-driven, even though they may not know where to go. I mean, I've been meditating since I was 8, so over 46 years. So if someone wants to steady their mind, I know I can help. But
Okay.
but at the same time, I want someone that truly is like, you have a mastery in something. And I'm not saying I'm a master meditator. I'm saying I've done the hours though.
Mhm, mhm.
1,000 hours to mastery, I've done that. And so in that sense, it's like, okay, now that you don't know, are you willing to listen? Because if you knew what to do, you wouldn't be even thinking about coming to me. So since we
Exactly.
can pretty much agree that you're not where you want to be and that's why you're here, are you willing to listen? Because if you're willing to listen, then we can get there, even if I don't have the answer, because I'm going to listen deep enough that something will give me the answer. Uh,
Mhm,
so yeah, I love working with people that are motivated, and not just because they're motivated in their life, like they've been doing everything right, and so
mhm,
they do something else right. Someone who's motivated can be someone who just went through a catastrophe. They're at spiritual bankruptcy, and they're so motivated to never go back to that depth. I'm with
mhm.
you know.
And,
Yeah.
and that's exactly why I really wanted you on the show today because I think 2025 is a turning point for a lot of people in life. 2024 was rough. They don't want to go back. They are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're ready for something new. And they may be looking for you. They may be looking for someone who can resonate with them, not just on the intellectual, but on a deep, or should we say higher quantum level, where the change is truly transformational as a coach would. Now, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit. What's your vision? What's your impact for the future? I know you have grown so much, you have accomplished so much. If any of the viewers are looking, you're actually one of the speakers on Gaia. You have worked with the best of the best, but I know there's still more work for you to do in your purpose, in your calling. What do you foresee in the future to be doing?
Well, I was very humbled to receive that award, the World Peace Award, for Ambassador of Peace, and I'd have to say that what has come forward from that is tapping into, okay, now I've got real work to do.
Mm,
So real work for me looks like being such an impact that people choose peace, that we actually get that in the world. And I know there's a lot of people that say world peace, and I've received my native name, he who brings peace, and committed to the mission of bringing the world to peace. So that's where I am. And really being able to go to places, I want to be able to work on myself so much that if I show up in a war zone, they put down their weapons and say, "Oh, we need to have peace here." And that's it. I want to be able to go to places and meet with people that are feeling they need to struggle, to bring our leaders here in the US to a place of peace, the people to a place of peace, to bring unity on all accords. For I like, there was someone that said I had a dream. Well, if you look at my skin, it's the dream come true.
Yes.
Like, I am a mixture of Egyptian, Native American, French, Scottish, Indonesian, all mixed up right here. So now why? So as I look out, we can do that mixture and that connection out here. So
Mhm.
that's it. When I think of my autobiography of a human that's coming out in June, um, the album that's coming out with it, the speeches that I'm set to give, it's about bringing the world to unity for
That's
sure.
beautiful. I think we need it. I think we've talked about it for a long time, but to see people like yourself in action, I do think it's coming. And I wanted to say, bringing you on my platforms, for the strangest reason, I have connected to so many amazing people around the world. Some of them live in countries that need peace. They live in war-torn areas. Some of them are leaders and ambassadors, and if they want to reach out to you, if they want to work with you, if they want to hear more from you, how will they get in touch with you?
Well, you can always email it, programs@sidmcnairy.com or sid@sidmcnairy.com. And you can go to sidmcnairy.com and look at everything. Or to work on, an individual basis, I'd say go to artofpeacefulliving.com. And Sid McNairy on all social media platforms, Sid McNairy on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to look. I'm not sure how long we'll be on TikTok, but there's that. But otherwise, you can find Sid McNairy wherever you want to look.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. I even love the name, The Art of Peaceful Living, because it brings this big concept of world peace to each and everyone's homes and individual lives. And I just love it. So I think you even have on The Art of Peaceful Living, you have some questionnaires there that people could go on and do
Yeah,
test
they can take the
themselves.
peace assessment. It's free to see where you are in your own life and go through that assessment. It takes about 10 minutes to answer all the questions, and you get a score, and you kind of come into the first step on finding peace for yourself is self-awareness. And that test gives you the self-awareness of, all right, how are you living your life? How are you in your relationships? How are you moving with what you're eating and putting in your food, how you're in relationship in that way about your nutrition. And when that comes, then you start moving deeper on the path for sure. And so there's no if they're typing that in, it's just artofpeacefulliving.com.
Let's
So yeah,
artofpeaceful.living.com.
.com. You got
There
it.
we go.
You got it. And
Well,
so there's exactly where they can go to artofpeacefulliving.com and take the peace assessment. We also work with people on a level of frequency, so
oh,
taking someone's voice and then measuring through their voice everything going on in their body based on their frequency, giving them a frequency to continue to listen to and elevate it for themselves. So it's all about that. It's all about getting into that peace frequency and
mm.
elevating someone's life.
I love this. And I always love and then with a call to action, something simple, something free that people can do. So if you are listening and if you're looking on right on the screen, artofpeacefulliving.com, you can go on and check your where you are, and you can check your frequencies as well. This is so awesome. This is really, really cool. Well,
Powerful.
Sid, this is a pleasure, such an honor to have you. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing. Thank you for holding the presence of peace as a nurse. We know all about healing hands, and we know that there are practitioners who have even more healing hands than we do. So it's really nice to work in tandem with you. Um, any last questions or word of advice or why I know you have a lot of sayings and readings and
Yeah.
any last words you would give to the audience as we close off this interview podcast?
Yeah. Well, I believe in seeking the truth in my life, and I think everyone should seek the truth. So if someone says something, as opposed to just taking it because they said it, find the truth in it.
Mm.
And it's said that seek the truth and the truth will set you free. And I've come across one truth that I put in my book, The Secret Weapon. And that truth is all of life is determined by your connection. If you're an angry person, you're going to meet angry people. If you're a miserable person, you're going to have misery in your life. If you are a peaceful person, you will find pieces surrounding you too. So seek the truth, and the truth will set you free. All of life is determined by your connection, and know that peace is possible. Thanks. Peace.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. That is so beautiful. Oh, I am so grateful to have you here. We will definitely have you again. If you are listening in and you say you want to hear about that book, The Secret Weapon, I'm also going to put it in the description below this video, and you can find it in the comments. So thank you so much, Sid. Thank you for being with me. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day next time.